President says unruly political hands are misleading university students. GMOA on continuous strike in protest against police action on university students yesterday. Millions of losses for the Health Ministry. Legal action to be taken against those who damaged ministry property. Finance Minister states excise laws should be loosened.
Good evening and welcome. You're with News First, your number one news provider. I am Shamir Rasulde.
And I'm Jitendra Gulatena. Let's start off with the local stories in detail. President Maithripala Sirisena, addressing an event at the Lanka Mahavidyalaya in Polonnaruwa, commented on the controversy surrounding the current student unrest.
Who is instigating this? Who is in this fight? Where does the money come from? Who is inciting these innocent children who enter university from the villages? Political organizations are behind this. Everyone knows this. I am not on Saitam's side. But there are political organizations and agencies that earn money by sending children abroad behind this. In this context, the media channel shows that the media states that the government is wrong and that the other forces are right. I say this because when watching the evening news or watching something on Facebook, you might think that the government is trying to destroy state universities. I want to ask you, what is wrong if children can get the same education they would receive overseas without leaving the country? What is wrong with having non-state universities which conform to standards?
The police have announced that those who stormed into the Ministry of Health and caused damage to public property will be prosecuted regardless of their positions. Around 30 students who were injured following yesterday's incident are currently receiving treatment at hospital. 5 police officers also suffered injuries.
An enjoining order was issued by the 4th Magistrates Court against this protest. These students have violated the law, entered the premises unlawfully and damaged public property. We are still assessing the damage caused to government property by them. The police will collect the CCTV footage recorded in the area and all the evidence and present it before the magistrate. Following the court proceedings, we will take legal action against those who were responsible for this. Law will be enacted against everyone who took part in the protest as well as those who were leading the protest. We used the required force. Didn't you ask Lahiru Veerasekara why he is not coming forward to lead the student movement? He was there at the very end. Not a single drop of water fell on him.
They have committed serious violation of criminal mischief of public property, which is not a bailable offence. Any person suspected of such an offence should be in remand until the conclusion of the trial. Now, my concern is not those students. My concern is the people who are behind this. Politicians who are behind this, who are using quite selfishly, using the students, commit mischief, commit crime, and so that they can always enjoy the fruits of the crime committed by innocent students.
Students from a number of universities across the island staged demonstrations today in protest against the police action on university students who stormed the Ministry of Health.
A photographer who was at the protest organised by the Medical Students Collective of Galle was assaulted by the protesters today. The photographer was saved through the intervention of the police. Protests were also staged by students of the Colombo, Sabaragamu, Peradeniya and Eastern universities. The protests were conducted in a manner where vehicular traffic was blocked and in some incidents, tires were also burnt on the roads.
හදිසි වෙන්න කොහොමද? ගානට අපි සෙට් කරන්න හදිසි වෙන්න. එයාට පොඩ්ඩක් ඇතුළට වෙලා ඉන්න. ඇතුළට වෙලා ඉන්න කියන්න පොඩ්ඩක් ටික වෙලා.
Now, the footage you witnessed was taken during the protest that was launched by a group of university students at the Ministry of Health premises in Colombo last evening. 80 students were injured, while 5 police personnel were also suffered injuries during this protest. Now, the Government Medical Officers Association was quick to react. They launched a strike action today in protest against the actions taken regarding the university students who stormed the Ministry of Health. Following a meeting of the Working Committee of the Government Medical Officers Association, they made this statement to the media.
The Central Working Committee decided to extend the strike action, which was launched at 8 am today. If the officials believe that they can stop this fight by assaulting the students, then they are mistaken. This is just the beginning. The battle will only intensify from this point. The government must reach a decision. We are prepared to hold discussions on the proposals that we have submitted at any given time. The Executive Committee will convene on a daily basis at 8 am every day. The doctors don't have a problem with the patients. They should resolve their issues with the government. In the evenings, these doctors will go and check private patients. If they treat 10 people, they can earn around 15,000 or 20,000.
පුදුම දෙයක් මට නම් තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ මේ මොනවා කරන මේ රටක්ද කියලා. මේ ආශිතක මිනිස්සු මැරෙනවනේ දැන් ඒත් නැතුව.
පාමිටින් රෝයන් අපිට සල්ලි නෑ තාත්තපා. ඉතින් මෙතන මේ ටික තමයි තියෙන්නේ අපිට.
This is a situation that patients had to face at the General Hospital in Colombo and other hospitals around the country.
The Minister of Health criticised the actions of the university students at a media briefing today.
Public property under the Ministry of Health was damaged. They attacked the Ministry of Health and then admitted themselves to the National Hospital controlled by the Ministry for treatment. The Government Medical Officers Association says that it was the Ministry of Health that did it. Where are they from? They too are in the Ministry of Health. It is the Ministry of Health that pays their wages. The GMOA was geared up to launch a strike. They had launched a strike in the morning because people from other areas are coming for the General Council. The law will be enforced against all those who damaged public property. As you are aware, bail will be rejected if the damage caused is over 25,000 rupees.
The Sri Lanka Freedom Party also announced its stand on the strike action launched by the GMOA.
Engaging in strikes for very little things and inconveniencing the people is wrong. The people of this country respected and loved our doctors. Such actions will only decrease the respect that the people have for them. Why are they striking? Because the students who stormed the Ministry of Health were attacked. That means any group that has the support of the doctors can break the law. These students have the right to protest. But they don't have the right to force their way into a ministry, assault the official and destroy vehicles and other property. We can see that there are attempts to make such protests anti-government and then use this to topple the government. If this continues, no one will be able to run this country. They might even enter parliament one day and take power. We see yesterday's behavior as that of terrorists. That is not suitable.
Former Minister Mervyn Silva had some strong words regarding last evening's incidents at the Ministry of Health.
I have an opinion on Saitam. However, I am against student oppression. I will not blame the police because they follow orders. What can we do if the mouths of those in government are taped? What does Kirialla know about higher education? Kirialla is a rogue. The former minister appeared in court today for a case filed against him. It is wrong. I am not the Minister of Education. How can a fool serve as Minister of Higher Education? Kirialla obtained a ministerial portfolio after 18 years. He is now hungry for money. I am not afraid of anyone. The Supreme Court ordered the former minister to pay a sum of 400,000 rupees in open court on the 27th as compensation for forcibly destroying the wall of a house in Kirivatgoda.
Members of the joint opposition requested a debate in Parliament to discuss the university students' protest yesterday and the subsequent doctors' strike. However, when the proposal was made for the adjournment debate, MP Dinesh Gunawardena was not in the parliamentary chamber. Therefore, Parliament was adjourned without a debate.
In other local news, the fundamental rights petition filed by Venerable Galagoda Atte Yanasarathera at the Supreme Court was withdrawn today.
Venerable Galagoda Atte Yanasarathera filed a fundamental rights petition alleging that there was an attempt by the Police Organised Crimes Prevention Division to arrest him. The Venerable Thera appeared before court and the Organised Crimes Prevention Division for cases pertaining to 3 incidents. The Thera's attorney informed the Supreme Court today that his client wishes to withdraw the fundamental rights petition, to which a 3-judge bench headed by the Chief Justice granted permission to proceed. Venerable Galagoda Atte Yanasarathera appeared before the Police Organised Crimes Prevention Division yesterday on the charge of obstructing police duties. After recording a statement, the Venerable Thera was produced before the Colombo Additional Magistrates Court. At the hearing, Additional Magistrate Buddhika Sri Ragala said the police's conduct regarding Venerable Galagoda Atte Yanasarathera was absurd. The Additional Magistrate said the police who had arrived at the judge's official residence to obtain an arrest warrant for Venerable Galagoda Atte Yanasarathera did not express their objection when the Venerable Thera was granted bail in court. While pointing out that such double-standard procedure has caused the public to reprimand the judiciary, the Additional Magistrate said the police had filed a preliminary B report which prevents Venerable Galagoda Atte Yanasarathera from being granted bail. The Additional Magistrate said amending the B report and not objecting the granting of bail for the Venerable Thera is an act of double standards on the part of the police, adding that the judiciary is highly disappointed with this conduct. In response, the police had informed court that its investigators conducted a broad investigation into the complaint they received and reported facts from the second B report it presented.
Speaking at an event yesterday, senior lecturer at the University of Sri Javardhanapura, Venerable Dr. Dambara Amilathera, responded to the statement issued on Tuesday by the Sangha Council of the Asgiri chapter.
Asgiri Paswe මහානායක හාමුදුරුවෝ ඇතුළු සංඝ සභාව යම්කිසි ප්‍රකාශයක් එළි දක්වලා තිබුණා. ඒ ප්‍රකාශයේ අන්තර්ගතය බැලුවාම අර ඒ ප්‍රකාශයෙන්ම කියනවා වගේ ඥානසාර හාමුදුරුවන්ගේ ශෛලියට අපි එකඟ නැහැ. හැබැයි මතවාදයට එකඟයි. ශෛලියට එකඟ වීම හෝ නොවීම වැදගත් නැහැ. වැදගත් වෙන්නේ මතවාදය. ඒ මතවාදය ඊට නපුරු නම් ඊටාත්ම සාමයට කැලලක් කරන එකක් නෑ. අපේ සංහිඳියාව කීතු කරන එකක් නෑ. ආපසු අර 30 අවුරුදු යුද්ධය වගේ එකට අපිව රැගෙන යාමට හේතු වෙන එකක් නෑ. එය අගය කළ යුතු නෑ. ඒ නිසා අස්ගිරි හාමුදුරුවන්ට විශේෂයෙන්ම කියන්න ඕනේ. අතිශයම නොකළ යුතු ප්‍රකාශයක් කළේ. මේ වෙලාවේ අවශ්‍ය කරන්නේ ඕවගේ නිවේදන නෙමෙයි. මේ වෙලාවේ ඕන වෙන්නේ 30 අවුරුදු යුද්ධකින් බැටකාපු අපිට හෙම්බත් වෙලා ඉන්න අපිට හතර ගාතෙන් වැටලා ඉන්න ජාතියක් හැටියට රටක් හැටියට ඕන වෙන්නේ සංහිඳියාවේ අවශ්‍යතාවය. ඒකට ආධාර කරන්නේ කුමක්ද? ඒ වෙනුවෙන් ප්‍රකාශ කරන්න තියෙන්නේ බොරුවක්ද? ඒ බොරුව උනත් කමන්නේ කියනවා. සංහිඳියාවට බාධා කරනවා නම්, සංහිඳියාවට සපෝට් කරනවා නම්, සංහිඳියාව වර්ධනය කරන්නට හේතු වෙනවා නම් ඒක වෙනුවෙන් ඇත්ත බොරුව දෙකම කිව්වට කමක් නැහැ. ඥානසාර කියන හාමුදුරුවන්ගේ ස්වරූපය ඔයගොල්ලෝ කවුරුත් දන්නවා. හොඳ නැහැ. ඒක නෙමෙයි බුද්ධ ආගමේ උගන්වන්නේ. ඥානසාර හාමුදුරුවන්ගේ පල්ලි වලට ගහන්න හරි මුස්ලිම් දැනියට ගහන්න හරි දෙමළ මිනිහට ගහන්න හරි කියන ප්‍රකාශයේ විසින් බුදුහාමුදුරුවන්ව බබළුවන්න බෑ. බුද්ධ ආගම ආලෝකමත් වෙන්නේ නැහැ එහෙම කහම. ලෝකයේ ඉදිරියේ බටහිර ලෝකයේ ශීඝ්‍රයෙන් බුද්ධ ආගම අධ්‍යයනය කරන ඇකඩමික් සමාජයේ ශාස්ත්‍රීය සමාජයේ ඒකෙන් බුද්ධ ආගමට වඩාත් ලං වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මේකද බුද්ධ ආගම කියලා ප්‍රශ්න කරනවා. ඒක ගිහියෙක් හැටියට කරනවා නම් ඒක ආරක්ෂකංශ බේරගනි හරි පැහැදිලිව. නමුත් සිවුරක් හැටියට ඒක කරනකොට ඒගොල්ලන්ටත් අපහසුයක් ඇති වෙනවා. ඒ නිසාම සංකේතයක් වෙනවා මේක තමයි බුද්ධ ආගම, මේක තමයි බුද්ධ ආගම, මේක තමයි බුද්ධ ආගම කියලා. ඒ නිසා බුද්ධ ආගම බුදුහාමුදුරන්ව බබළුවන්න නම් අපි බුද්ධ ආගමේ කියන දේවල් වලට අනුව කටයුතු කරන්න. ඒකේ උගන්වන්නේ මනුෂ්‍යත්වය. ඒකේ ಜಾති ආගම් කුල නැහැ.
The total turnover of perpetual treasuries raised eyebrows at the Presidential Commission of Inquiry today. The documents in this regard were challenged by the state. Newsfirst's Zulfiq Farzan reports.
Council for Perpetual Treasuries Limited presented to the Commission that the total turnover from the 1st of February 2015 to 31st of March 2016 was just over 800 billion rupees. However, he pointed out that it was very low compared to other primary dealers. He made the submission in response to the explanation given by the Assistant Director of the Department of Supervision of Non-Banking Financial Institutions at the Central Bank, Suresh Prasangasedara, yesterday. The Council highlighted that the turnover was important to assess the performance of a primary dealer. The Attorney General's Department objected to the submission of these documents by the Attorney for Perpetual Treasuries, citing that these documents have not been submitted to the Department of Supervision of Non-Banking Financial Institutions at the Central Bank. The Commission was also concerned regarding the authenticity of these documents and informed the Attorney for Perpetual Treasuries that these documents are subject to proof and that he must explain the contents of these documents through his witnesses. The witness revealed that following a Monetary Board directive last year, Perpetual Treasuries Limited must report on all daily matters to the bank. The witness revealed that only NSB Fund Management Company had paid taxes on profits in cash. He added that, however, there is a dispute if there is a liability for taxes on profits, noting that some primary dealers had made provision to pay taxes. Primary dealers must pay withholding tax at source when securities are issued by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. Vasanta Alvis, the Assistant Director of IT at the Central Bank, continued his evidence via an affidavit.
Just weeks after taking over as the Minister of Finance, Mangala Samaravira announced that excise regulations would be eased.
Taking into consideration the socio-economic situation and with the objective of minimizing the use of illegal alcohol in the country, the charges on liquor permits and the excise duty on liquor was subject to amendments. The permit for a distillery was increased from 100,000 rupees to 100 million rupees, while the charges of the license for the manufacture of liquor was increased from 50,000 rupees to 50 million rupees. Small and medium-scale liquor manufacturers have noted that these charges are unbearable and have requested the ministry to amend these charges. Several cases, including one on fundamental rights, have been filed with the Supreme Court against the increase of these charges. Taking this into consideration, we have reduced the permits for distillery exempting Palmyra Arak to 1 million rupees from 100 million rupees. In addition, 1 rupee will be charged for each litre that is bottled, while 0.1 million rupees will be charged for Palmyra Arak production and 0.5 million rupees will be charged as annual charges for other liquor production. There are 15 distilleries across the country, while 24 liquor manufacturing plants are also in operation. I wish to note that the amendments would not impact the revenue of the government. Illegal liquor has become a growing issue in the country. 61% use moonshine and illegal liquor. We have identified that moonshine is spreading rapidly. That is why we at the Ministry of Finance decided to make certain amendments. We know that we cannot bring down alcohol consumption. However, if alcohol is consumed in a way where there are lower health risks, like consuming beer and wine, we hope to provide some relief to these consumers. That is my view as the Minister. If we can permit the retail sale of wine and beer, we can prevent the consumers from moving towards other liquor products.
The Deputy Minister of Rural Economic Affairs was vocal on the distillery in Calcutta that made headlines in the recent past.
There was an attempt to construct a massive ethanol plant in Calcutta by a private company, which was thereafter converted to produce alcohol. It continued to take place despite strong opposition from the government. This is a sad situation. Recently, we received a response from the President to a letter that we submitted. He assured us that this ethanol plant will not go ahead. We have faith in his word. We believe that this plant will not go ahead. We appreciate the handwritten letter of the President.
The Medical Research Institute has discovered a species of mosquitoes that boast similarities to dengue mosquito larvae and survives on plants instead of blood.
The Medical Research Institute notes that this breed of mosquitoes will be released into the environment in the future. The mosquitoes will be used as a biological control of dengue mosquitoes.
Toxorhynchitis splendens Sombul Madurwa.
We are collecting the herbivorous mosquito called Toxorhynchitis splendens from various parts of the country to all laboratories to increase the population of this mosquito. This mosquito could be mostly found in rural areas where they feed on nectar. The proboscis of this particular mosquito is crooked. This mosquito will never feed on human blood. In the near future, we will spread the Toxorhynchitis splendens mosquito in urban areas and areas where mosquito breeding grounds are prevalent. To a certain extent, we'll eradicate the dengue mosquito.
The Public Commission appointed to formulate a national policy for international trade convened today. The former chairman of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce expressed his views at the Commission.
It is important, whilst you are looking at international trade, and you must also look at the role that the Procurement Commission can play. I think it's very important that now the Constitution has accepted and created the Procurement Commission, and the Procurement Commission's own guidelines, how they affirmatively support local enterprises, but there must be some minimum threshold of a local production. I mean, you can't give this to everybody. If you are giving a benefit, it must be at a certain level with certain value addition.
A statue of Thiruvalluvar, a celebrated Tamil poet and philosopher, gifted by the Government of India, was declared open at the Ramanathan Hindu Ladies College, Colombo, today.
The event was held under the auspices of Speaker Karu Jayasuriya and was attended by Minister D.M. Swaminathan and State Minister V. Radhakrishnan.
When I see the young faces here, when they sang the national anthem, actually it touched my heart, because we as the parliamentarians, we as of course as politicians, what we would like to see in this country is a country that is united, country that is prosperous, and where all of us could live peacefully. The city of Colombo, where all three communities live in harmony. The Sinhalese, the Muslims and the Tamils will live in harmony. I can tell you that Colombo has become a model city. It's due to the fact that Sinhalese, which is the majority race, is a minority in the city of Colombo. But with all that, we have so much of national amity, and that is something which should be followed by not only in Sri Lanka but also in other countries.
When you educate a girl, you empower a nation. The nation building starts here. You are the harbingers of a better tomorrow, not just for yourselves, but for the nation at large. You look at the future not through the lens of the past. You are hungry for a qualitative change in your lives. You, the young minds, have ushered in the brave new world. We count on you for taking our countries ahead together.
A meeting between the Norwegian ambassador to Sri Lanka and the officials of the Kalutara district secretariat was held this morning.
The ambassador will make several inspection tours in areas affected by the recently experienced adverse weather conditions to assess the situation. The initiative will be supported by the United Nations Children's Fund and International Federation of the Red Cross.
We see a lot of commitments to solve the problem and help the people. And Norway has also provided some support to those who have been affected by the landslides and the flood in Sri Lanka. And we also go discussing with the government agent how they are preparing themselves for the future. Climate change is there, and I think we can expect floods and rains and landslides also in the future. We are also trying to support Sri Lanka through the National Building Research Organization, so they can be better prepared to do early warning when landslides are coming, so people can have time to relocate and protect themselves.
A mother and daughter who lost their only home to the flash floods were given a new house through the intervention of the president's son.
It was on the 13th of June that Newsfirst reported on this family losing their home to gushing waters. It was the president's son, Daham Sirisena, who stepped forward to support this family who had already lost their breadwinner after the plea of this little girl touched the hearts of many. Daham Sirisena visited the area the very next day and promised to give them a new home. Fulfilling that promise at the auspicious time today, Daham Sirisena placed a foundation stone for the construction of the new house for this family. He promised to construct the house in 3 months. We are very happy today. The family also shared a meal with the president's son today.
Well, that's all the news we have for you for tonight. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Jipin Vikunasena.
And I am Shamir Rasuldin. Just a quick reminder of one of the stories that are following right here on Newsfirst. A doctor was injured in a clash which broke out during the GMOA meeting at the Sri Lanka Foundation Institute. And Newsfirst, of course, will keep a close watch on this fast developing story and will bring to you developments as and when it breaks. Watch our primetime news at 10 p.m. on Citizen TV for a comprehensive update on that story. Take care and good night.